So for those of you who are new to my channel, hi, I'm Saemi. I was a former financial journalist turned media and communication scholar. Currently, I'm in this very weird transitional time. I recently quit my job at a UK edtech company, and currently I'm working on various projects, reading, writing, and yeah. So today I'm going to do a quick Q&A, and this is a list of questions that I thought would be very helpful for anybody who is also going through a similar phases in life. So let me just get right into it. I'm 31 years old now, currently in a double master's program at the LSE, and in an unusual situation where I have to take a gap year before my second master's, which starts in September 2023. I'm just worried about my age and whether it'd be okay for me to start as an intern. Okay, so first and foremost, I believe it's actually more advantageous that you're seeking a job that is only a year-long work. So you can generally find those contract jobs more easily than permanent ones. But what I suggest is that it'd be extremely difficult to try to get two birds with one stone. I'm not at all saying that it's impossible, but it is a huge amount of pressure. And while you have to complete your dissertation and try to find a new housing if you need to move out from your student accommodation, and try to get a job, all of these things take a lot of efforts and time. And I think there's a dilemma that we have to face as master students. If you do want to get good grades for your papers and your dissertation, that you kind of have to let go of landing a job in September right away. Which is the time that you will finish your master's. Or you work on your job search, job application starting now, and by the time you finish submitting your dissertation in August, you will be ready to jump into the real world and start working right away. But bear in mind that when I was searching for my jobs, it took me good 3 months to land my current job. And it was during the full-on pandemic, so maybe things are a little bit better now. A lot more things have opened up, so it might be a different story. But one of my friends who landed his job in September when he finished his master's, he actually started working on his job application starting December the year before, and it took him almost good 9 months to land his job. So it usually takes up to good 6 months to land a job, and doing job search, job application, doing assessment test, job interviews, and landing a job, all of these things, this whole process takes a long time, especially in the UK. So give yourself good enough time, and trust me, you will get a job. So don't worry that you will, be unemployed. You will land a job. It's just a matter of how you will cope with all these different things in a time frame. 아나운서에서 다른 분야로 전향하셨는데 영국에서 다른 분야로 취업하실 때 LSE Career Hubs 외에 또 다른 도움받으신 경로가 있을까요? No, actually not really. When I was doing my master's, it was a full-on pandemic, and I didn't particularly find my home institution to be that helpful in terms of landing my job. I actually ended up getting my job through a referral. A colleague of mine, she referred me to the company, and that's how I got to know this company as well. Otherwise I wouldn't have applied at all. And so you never know how things will work out. Definitely referrals, your friends, networks, these indeed create lots of opportunities. 현실적으로 한국에서 사회적인 나이 31와 영국에서 취업할 때 실제로 나의 영향을 받는지 이 생각이 떨쳐지기가 않네요. 같이 대학원 생활하는 친구들 보면 보통 저랑 경력이 비슷한 친구들도 26, 27살이더라고요. 너무 뒤처지는 건 아닌지, 그래서 인턴부터 시작해서 함께 맞는 건지 고민이 되네요. I hear you. I definitely hear you. And when I started my master's, I was 33 American age, and when I got out, I was 34. So I feel your concerns, and I'm with you. But especially in the UK or most Western countries, they don't really look at your age as long as you have what the company needs. So you have to be a problem solver for the company. You have to be able to give what they have been looking for. you have to be able to tick off all the boxes in the job description, making sure that you have relevant experiences and skills. So it's not that big of an issue when it comes to concerns around age. And from my own experiences as well, most of my managers and my bosses, they were a lot younger than I was, and it's not at all an abnormal thing. In terms of feeling behind is something that everybody feels these days, I think, especially when we can get pretty much everything at our doorstep within just a second. I actually wanted to address this in another video, but I'm just gonna say that maybe it might be helpful to try this framework. Are you pursuing something that you're so passionate about that you can't give up? And if your answer is yes, then go for it. You don't have to agonize about this. If your answer is no, then ask yourself again, what do you need to do with your current career in order to get to your new goal? And what other ways are there to achieve that? You want to make a mind map of different ways of reaching that goal. You see, what I've learned through my master's journey was that there's no cookie cutter answer to life. We know that in our head, and we still agonize about these things because we have fear that our choices, if things don't work out the way we imagine, then we are afraid that we have made a wrong choice, or we're oftentimes more afraid of getting out of our comfort zones because everything else that we have right now is secure. And as I said in earlier videos that I've made for my channel, don't be afraid to fail, but be afraid not to try. Don't let the bad days make you think that you have a bad life. It's okay to be scared. Being scared means you're about to do something really, really brave. And as I said in this earlier video that I'd made, everybody runs their own race. Life is given only once. Oftentimes that question rids my fear and it sort of clears my thoughts. In addition, I actually sent out my first ever newsletter to those who opt to receive my newsletters. I hope that you enjoy reading it. In that letter, I also shared how I do not want to take any moments for granted, and that time is so precious. I quit my high-paying job as a financial news anchor, which actually came with lots of prestige and status. And I quit that job when I was 33, which might seem a little too adventurous to many. But I knew that there's something more that I could go for. And in order for me to really do a quantum jump, I knew that I had to move away from my comfort zone and just really believe in myself and my faith. Of course, when I went back to the academia, I felt so behind. Everybody else was like 22 to 25 or 28. And even though I had my own expertise in financial journalism, that's not what it really mattered in academia, because academia has a whole another culture. But at the end, we lead our own lives, and there's no correct answer to anything. And with internship question, internships don't pay your bills. And I know when you get out of your master's in London, you definitely want to pay your rent and have a roof over your head, and you need money, and internships don't pay your bills. So with your current experiences, I'm confident that you can leverage what you have learned at LSE and sell that to your prospective employers. Make your skills, work experiences, your abilities look attractive on CV, and make sure you tick off all the boxes in the job descriptions. Research the company's vision, philosophy, what kinds of help or work that they need. Study their roles, study job descriptions and specs, know them inside out. 제가 속한 트랙은 영국에서 1년 과정을 마치더라도 2년 뒤에 학위가 나오는데 혹시 학사, 석사 영국에서 지원할 때 차이가 큰가요? Well, just simply state that you have completed the first year of your master's at the LSE and that you will pursue the second master's in your from September 2023, then the company knows that you've done your work, you've done your coursework. And also if they ask you some sort of a validation, there is a letter that the school provides for students for that purpose. So that's not a big deal. 못다한 꿈에 대한 미련이 남아서 한 번쯤은 졸업 후에 국제회의 MC나 영어방송에서 프리랜서로 일해보고 싶은 생각도 있는데 혹시 시작에 대한 문제에 있어서 나이 때문에 어려울까요? Okay, so this is a good question. If you want to be involved in broadcasting, age does matter a bit. I'm not saying that it's completely impossible, but it does matter a bit, and I'm speaking realistically. But if you do want to be involved in international conferences as a Master of Ceremony or radio broadcasters, for example, your age doesn't matter. What they're looking for is whether you have relevant experiences and whether you really can deliver what they're looking for. So if you have relevant training in terms of broadcasting, announcing, and international conferences, plus if you want to jump into the whole freelance world, it all comes down to personal branding. So how well is your reputation? How well can you be received by agencies and people who want to work with? And if you have more questions on this, please let me know by comments down below, more specific questions, then maybe I could answer those. That will be more helpful than this. 교수님, 오피스 아워 잡으실 때 사전 준비나 스스로 해결하실 수 있는 부분까지 하고 오피스 아워 신청하셨나요? 혹시 기준이 있으셨나요? Okay, yes. Office hours are really short. I found 10 to 15 minutes of meeting, it's not enough. So you want to make the most out of those 10 to 15 minutes. At least 1 to 2 days before, I will make a list of questions, also prioritize questions, which question needs to be answered by my professor. Sometimes I would also sign up office hours of those professors that I've never had classes with, but I want to ask whether he or she could refer me to some other connections. This is something that I did for my own dissertation as well. I was trying to collect data for my dissertation, and I asked one of the faculty members in our department to see if she could give me some names of people that I could refer to in my dissertation, and I got 3 names, which were really helpful. 이 summer term은 스스로 시간 관리하는 게 제일 중요한 것 같은데 취업 준비, dissertation, 유튜브 편집 등등 어떻게 다 하셨는지, time management 어떻게 하셨는지 궁금합니다. Okay, so I actually made a few videos about time management, and there's one right here that you can refer to. It's up on LSE official YouTube channel. Especially when it comes to academic world, time management is extremely important, and you have to plan ahead and very strategically plan ahead. So before the summer term began, I actually made a deadline for myself. By what date I will finish the lit review for my dissertation, by what date data collection, then analysis, first draft for my dissertation, second draft, third draft. I always try to apply 10-day rule when it comes to making important deadlines. So this is something that most successful high achievers do. You plan to complete your task 10 days earlier so that you have a 10-day buffer until your actual deadline. And a lot of unexpected things happen in between, and you'll be very happy that you have given yourself that 10-day buffer. 점점 학기가 진행되어 가면서 느끼는 부분이지만 개별 논문 넘어가게 되면서 외로움을 더 많이 느낄 수 있을 것 같은데 콘텐츠에서도 언급해 주셨지만 외로움을 느낌과 동시에 학업 스트레스 어떻게 극복하셨나요? Okay, I think in my case it was more of a struggle with time pressure than loneliness. I had so many things to juggle at the same time, and my job offer got revoked. I had to look for an apartment to live in. I had to look for a job. I had to finish my dissertation, and I was already thinking about my PhD applications. So I literally had no time but to tackle each of these big issues. So I didn't really have time to be lonely. So for me, it was more of a constant hustling, which was not healthy at all to think back. But if you feel lonely, be gentle to yourself. You always go take breaks in between and talk to your friends for tea and coffee, and you guys could actually create the best support for each other. And I certainly had that with my own flatmates, so I was thankful. One of the best ways to tackle pressure and stress for me was going for walks, having some tea time with my friends, and go swimming. So 혹시 에세이나 영어 논문 쓰실 때 팁이 있으신가요? Okay, so my top 3 tips for LSE students are this. Number 1, go through all LSE life slides regarding how to write essays and papers and dissertations. 2, go to the library and get one of those, how to write a dissertation or how to write essay books. Just skimming those books help you a lot. You'll get a big picture of what your dissertation should look like. 3, book LSE Life Study Advisor appointments, show your work, and ask your questions. LSE Life Study Advisors most of them have PhDs and they are experts in teaching. They're there to support you, so make a full use out of it. I also have to give you a warning that while you write your dissertation, you will hit many moments of frustration. Don't worry, you will complete it. And I'm just going to continue to emphasize that you've got this, you can complete it, and just don't panic. You'll be able to do it. 하시게 되면 참고 자료로 골라서 참고하실 때 어떤 기준을 하셨나요? Okay, so my dissertation was on analyzing policy documents of the EU and South Korea. And since they are policy documents, they were all public resources, so I didn't have much problem having access to them. You want to collect data that are helpful to answer your research question. So if your data doesn't answer your research question, then you don't need that data. You can throw it out. You want to collect only the relevant ones so that you can explain why you have collected these in order to answer your research question and how they help you to answer the research question for your dissertation. As I said earlier, this is one of the lengthy Q&As, but I really hope that this was helpful, and I know that it is June. It's one of the busiest times. You will be really, very busy writing your dissertation, so take breaks in between, and I send out my best wishes to all. And also, if there are any other topics that you want me to cover, then please let me know via comments down below. I'm more than happy to hear your opinions and thoughts. And we'll see you in the next video. Ciao.